Hello, this is Liz. Welcome to my little urban homestead. As you saw on the video, I've said bye-bye for the time being to the mare's tail. We cleared all that front bit. And the only thing I got left was the kale bed. Now, last year I didn't have kale, although I planted it, because the butterflies laid eggs all over it, caterpillars hatched and stripped it bare. Even though I was pulling the caterpillars off and feeding them to the chickens, they just decimated it. With having that netting over it, they haven't been able to get in at it. But neither have I, until today. And there's that much of it, there's no way I can use it all fresh. So what I've done is I've picked about half, if that, of the curly kale, and here it is. And it's brilliant because there's a couple of little holes in a couple of them, and that's it. Brilliant. So I'm going to wash it all off, dehydrate it, and then grind it into powder, because kale is very good for you. High in iron, vitamin K7 is it? Magnesium, and it's very good for you. So I thought I'm going to dehydrate them. So I'll get on and wash all these off and see you in a bit. Now I've washed the kale, I've done a few of these, so I've got my head round the best way I find. It's just basically find it and run down, because you don't want these stems in. Turn it over, then you can see it, and down it goes. And they go there for the animals. Now some people actually fold them over and cut the stem out this way. But whichever way you want to do it, you do it. And it actually is quite easy. But at times, especially with this curly kale, you can't see where the stem is, apart from on the back. See what I mean by it's fiddly at times, because you've got to hold them down. And I aren't that bothered about getting that close to the stem and taking all of it off. One, because I've got that much kale out there, and two, the chickens are just going to finish off everything that's left. And the rabbits, I'll give them some as well. So I just basically run it down. You can't see it, but feel the force and you will go next to the stem. That's the way I prefer to do it anyway. I consulted my new book of canning and preserving for their temperatures, and I found the section on kale, well, greens, and that includes kale and chard and that, and it says you steam for 3 to 5 minutes. So before I've started the dehydrator going, I'm steaming them. An awful lot on YouTube seem to do it raw. They didn't steam or blanch it first. But I'm going to go along with these and steam it for about 3 to 5 minutes. So the amount that I've got, I'm doing it in batches because my steamer's not that big. That's my dehydrator full. 6 trays of curly kale, and there's basically just bits left on the plants, but they'll carry on growing and I can use that fresh. Plus I've planted some more seeds. So it says turn it on and put it onto a temperature of 52 degrees, which I will be doing, and check on it after 5 hours. Every hour keep alternating the tray so you're getting even drying. But after 5 hours I will check on them to see how they're coming. They shouldn't be ready. The book says between 6 and 8 hours. So I'll let them go for the day. This is what's left out of 3 of those that are called, I think they're called little trucks or whatever. It's where I gather things in and harvest things in. And it was full to overflowing 3 times. And I've got them on 6 trays in the dehydrator. And all these, this is how they looked last year after the caterpillars stripped them. This is how they look this year after I've stripped them. So these are all going to the chickens, and the rabbits will have the greens over there. And that noise in the background is my dehydrator. These have had nearly 7 hours in the dehydrator, and as you'll be able to see, they're extremely dry, very dry. Now you can put these in your processor, your blender, and really powder them up, but I thought, why? You've only got to wash it afterwards. So I'm doing it straight into a bag. This way you can hear how dry they are. You crumble it up, do it straight into the bag, and that way you can actually feel if there's any that haven't dried out completely. But these have. And according to the book, between 6 and 8 hours, and they had nearly 7, so the book was right. And when I've got quite a lot in the bag, I'm just getting my rolling pen and just go over it, make them a little bit smaller. I mean, these should help to thicken up stews and that, as well as giving you all the nutrition that kale gives you. And as you can see, doing it this way, let me show you, they come out roughly the size of dried herbs. But so I've heard you can use them on absolutely anything. I'm not sure if I mentioned these to you before. These little packets are what's called oxygen absorbers, and I put them in everything. You can see my salt that I use all the time, and there is one in there. I use them in things I dehydrate and put in jars. As you can see, there's one there from last year's onions. I also put them in the vacuum bags as well to help some more. I put some more of the kale in a vacuum bag. There's 2 oxygen absorbers going in there, and let's try and seal it down. Yeah, as you can see, it's all sealed now. That kale will last me quite a while. what I actually got out of those 6 trays. This is a jar that's going to a friend of mine, and it's got oxygen absorbers inside it as well. There's a jar that I will be using, and there is a vacuum bag as well. So that lasts me, well, that's going to a friend. So the bag and the jar in front will last me quite some time. So at least I'm going to have some of the kale that I grew this year, instead of caterpillars and slugs and snails and everyone having it but me. Thank you. Bye.
It's a